Lovely to see you all for episode 55 of our horror movie review show, I Know What You Watched Last Week, or in the case of my glamorous assistant here last week who didn't remember sod all about what we watched. So
but I do this week.
Oh, you do this week?
I do indeed.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Yeah, I remember all of them quite well, which is surprising considering I didn't think any of them were very good. They weren't awful, but, let's get into it. So we started the week with The Lazarus Effect.
A Blumhouse movie from 2015.
We then saw Mortuary.
By Tobe Hooper.
Yeah, I can't believe that. And finally, we saw The Belko Experiment.
Another Blumhouse movie written by James Gunn, who's
really?
recently directed and written the new Superman movie. I say new Superman, I'm pretty sure it's just his Superman starting all over again. Like, we need another one of those.
Yeah.
Not that I care about Superman. I don't watch that. So, 3, 2, 1. What order have you stacked these movies in?
Yes. Okay. I'm going with... I'm going to put third place is The Lazarus Effect. Then I'm going with The Belko Experiment. So I guess gold goes to Tobe Hooper's questionable film, Mortuary.
I was certain that you were going to go Mortuary bottom, Lazarus Effect, Belko.
Well, you'll see why I haven't done that when we get into it, I suppose. What about you? You're different?
Third place, The Lazarus Effect. Second place, Mortuary. And top, The Belko Experiment. So let's start off with what we both put bottom, The Lazarus Effect.
Yes, starring Olivia Wilde.
Yeah, and Evan Peters from American Horror Story, Donald Glover, and Mark Duplass from Creep and Creep 2.
Well, essentially, this group of, I think, 4 people work...
Yeah, Dr. Frank, who's Mr. Duplass, Dr. Zoe, who's Olivia Wilde, and then I'm just going to call them Evan Peters and Donald Glover. And
Right.
there's also like an intern girl called Ava.
I believe she's someone they bring in to be the documentarist.
Yeah, she's always behind the camera.
Yeah. So anyway, there's these 5 people. 4 of them are doing experiments under a grant for their PhD, I think, is what I gathered, even though the 2 doctors look
At
far too old
Berkeley.
to be students.
Well, some of them, certainly.
And the 2 doctors, by the way, Olivia Wilde and...
Mark Duplass.
Yeah, they're engaged, as well as working together. And they bring in the 5th person, the girl, to document their experiments.
Well, they document the Lazarus Effect, and they've made the Lazarus Serum, which is supposed to bring you back from the dead and give you a second chance with no cognitive side effects.
Well, here already, so straight away, we see them experiment on a pig, which...
That's the opening credits, pretty much,
which
isn't
was
it?
which was probably the best part of the whole thing.
You thought that was the best part, the opening?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, because I thought at least the pig looked kind of gruesome, and then it comes to life, I suppose, for a couple of seconds. But really, the reason they got this grant is because they're saying they're making a serum that will help
Lazarus serum.
extend the last moments of a patient who's on the brink of death, I think. So it's not actually supposed to bring anything back to life.
so,
but-
so is that how they differentiated it from, flatliners then?
Well, no, not really,
and,
because
and
that's
Hollow
just...
Man.
That's just how they got their grant, but that's not what they're doing. What they're doing is what you described, which is bringing...
Which is very Hollow Man, because they
Yeah.
decide to keep
Ye-
it all
secret.
under wraps. Yeah, so like you said, reviving a pig, Lazarus Serum. We get a whole bunch of then science speak, dull science speak, and you have to inject the serum into the brain. By the way, it goes into the temple, doesn't it? And the first kind of conversation that we have in this laboratory, which is pretty much, it looks like an episode of CSI. It's just CSI, and we pretty much stay in the lab for most of the movie.
It reminded me of Species 2.
Very unimaginative. So what was I going to say about that? Yeah, the first conversation we get between Evan Peters and Donald Glover is about tappable women.
Yeah.
Would you tap that? Hey, bro, would you tap that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
they would tap it. Whoever they're talking about, they want to tap
they were
Ava,
talking about the
they want to tap
documentary
Olivia
girl,
Wilde.
but Donald Glover's character clearly has a thing for Olivia Wilde, so he's like, I mean, I would tap that, but I'd rather tap that, you know. So yeah, so we have that, which is completely irrelevant.
What did you think of that?
Really, it's so.
How was that less relevant than anything else that happens in the movie?
I know. I suppose it's supposed to be showing the beginning of this relationship Olivia Wilde and Donald Glover have. And
which is what? Because you kind of said you thought they used to go out or something, and I said I don't think so.
They have a conversation at one point
over sushi.
Where he comes.
Is that a sign?
He comes back and brings her sushi while she's working late. If that's not him trying to get in, then I don't know what is.
Sushi?
But the conversation they have at one point in the film makes it seem like they were a couple in the past, which again I just can't see. He looks way younger. Yes, it is.
Good.
Just concentrate on this, yeah?
I have been concentrated, very concentrated, laser focus. I'm a laser.
Anyway, we skip a whole bunch of kind of irrelevant stuff. They bring a dog.
Well, Zoe's also she's been having a recurring nightmare, we find out as well. Zoe's having a recurring nightmare. Dr. Frank lets everyone know. Like you say, so they want to start working on a dog instead of a pig this time. But the way they get to the point where they think that they might have more success than what they did with the pig is that Evan, the stoner of the movie, he's blazing up in the lab and he kind of gets called out.
On an e-cigarette, though.
He gets called out on it.
Which makes it a lot less cool.
And yeah, smoking's only cool in movies if it's not with an e-cigarette. And then after that, they kind of like moan at him, or at least one of the girls moans at him. But then he figures out what they might have to do to make the experiment work better, and all of a sudden everyone wants a piece of his e-zoot.
No, not really. I think
they all want a piece of his e-zoot. How can you not remember that?
I do not remember that.
Yeah, because they call him out for smoking, and then all of a sudden after he's like, so sue me, or whatever he says, and he works out what they need to do, they're all like, well, it must be the ganja. So they all try to get his ganja. I'm surprised you didn't remember that bit.
Well, anyway, they make it work. So they get this dog, and it's brought back to life.
Doggy revival.
And
it's cataracts again.
The engaged doctor couple take it home with them, and they run experiments in the lab, etc., etc. So this goes on over a few days.
When they're in the lab and they bring the dog back to life, we then get the whole, we need to keep this under wraps, keep it to ourselves, and then they will celebrate. They break out like the shampoos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's all very Hollow Man. Because obviously in Hollow Man, Kevin Bacon's like, look, we're not going to tell anybody. We're going to work it on me first.
Keep it hush.
Then.
Yeah.
So yeah, they bring the dog home.
And the lab every day and stuff. But basically, they quickly show us bits. So when the dog's at home, he kind of crawls over Olivia Wilde on the bed and is just there, like, staring at her like some weirdo.
Yeah.
And then in the lab, when they're doing, scans and blood tests or whatever it is they're doing, they're like, something's weird here.
Energy discussions about DMT.
Yeah, something's weird.
Then I've written boring, bland conversations.
And
it's a very humdrum movie, this.
They figure out as well that the serum, which is supposed to kind of leave the body after 12 hours or something like that, it's now, over 24 hours later, and it's still in the dog's system. So they're like, maybe we don't know everything.
And by the way, even though they get the dog to growl and stuff,
so cute.
He's just so cute. He's just not a scary dog.
He's a good actor, though. He's
a good actor, but
I think the fact that he was wagging his tail was maybe not.
He's enjoying his work. He's enjoying his work.
Yeah.
There's nothing else more than a good long day on the set. The doggy.
And it doesn't
delivering.
take very long before I believe Donald Glover is alone in the lab, and the dog is in its carrier cage.
No, meanwhile, Evan is back in the lab stoning again. Hitting up the e-zoot.
You're right, it is Evan.
And the dog is in a doggy cage.
Yeah.
And because he's been smoking, he loses concentration, wanders off, doggy gets out the cage and starts growling at him.
Well, not just that. He's also
Chilling.
managed to get all the food and stuff out of the kitchen, and as they
He's probably got the munchies.
as they remark, when all of them are back and they see what's happened, the documentarist girl is like, but these cookies were in the top shelf. He couldn't have got them down.
What a piece of script writing that is. The dog couldn't get to the top shelf to get these cookies, so
this dog is like, I
rule
guess,
out the dog.
Super. I was about to say superhuman,
I'm looking
but
at
super
Evan.
dog.
Really, everyone knows that he just puffs away on the herb.
Yeah, probably forget he did it.
Yeah.
So clearly, the two younger ones, I guess, they're starting to get a bit unsure about this.
Hey,
serum
what about
and
in the lab?
Effects of it.
In the lab, though, when everyone else comes and has a go at Evan for letting the dog loose and stuff like that, we get to see. You probably wouldn't have noticed this as much as I did, but we get to see the dog in predator vision. Like blue, green, and yellow heat-seeking map style. So I thought, oh look, it looks like the predator's looking at the dog. So that was a highlight of the movie for me.
That was your favourite bit
because it made me think of Predator, which was much more exciting than the Lazarus Effect.
Yeah. Okay, next somewhat interesting part.
We also get science speak about the dog as well. Let's not forget about science speak
it's just
about the
loads
dog.
of science speak.
Yeah, the next thing we move on to is Dr. Frank has been rumbled by the dean of the university. She's not having these experiments. So what she does is she calls on the one and only Ray Wise, aka Leon Nash from RoboCop, and Leland Palmer from Twin Peaks. She calls on him and his goons to go and seize everything from Dr. Zoe and Dr. Frank's lab. They're none too happy about that.
Everyone's pretty pissed off because it turns out they signed a contract.
I was pissed off.
That said, if they break any of the rules of what they said they were going to do, then the rights of everything they've done goes to some big corporation. So yeah, it's the corporation that comes and takes all their stuff.
As I just said, I was pissed off because when you look up this movie and when the credits roll at the beginning, you get the old with or and Ray Wise. And I was all, huh? Ray Wise is going to be in the movie. And I'm not sure you quite knew who the hell I was going on about, because you're no good with names and stuff like that. But he only comes in for that one scene, and
it's pretty minimal, isn't it?
It's minimal, and he delivers the most character of the entire movie, because the cast look like they're all having a day off in this film. So that was in a Ray Wise. So yeah, I was pissed off.
So all of their stuff is gone, and the doctor guy is like, well, we still have access to the lab for like another 24 hours. We've got some of the serum at home in our freezer.
We need to duplicate the experiment now so that everyone knows it was us, because I've taken all evidence. And like you say, well, how are we going to do that, boss? Go to the bag.
We figured just in case.
Yeah, we figured. So they got, serum and extra key cards to get in to the lab, because
finally
apparently
documentary girls come in handy.
Security's pretty lax in the lab, apparently, according to, I believe, Donald Glover. Yeah, so they get in there, like one girl goes in and kind of like just nonchalantly says hey to the guard as she walks in, kind of thing.
Yeah, and lets the rest of them in.
Everyone else gets in, and then once they're about to start doing, the experiment again, we get the whole kind of thing of, let's make history again. And just before they start, one character says to the other, you do the honors, which you always get in a lab when there's a science guy.
Well, they're making history, Johnny.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Every time you get one of these scenes, the scientist always like, let's make history.
Mm-hmm. So they go and get, apparently they've got just, a
derivative.
A stock full of carcasses. So they go and get another dog, I believe it is, and put it on the table.
Just from their haul
from
of dogs.
From their stock, yeah, like I said. And it's Olivia Wilde's job to flip the switch for the power once the needle has been injected.
Will you do the honours?
And it doesn't work. Nothing happens the first time. So they say, oh, let's turn it up. And some people are like, oh, should we turn it up? I don't know. And then what happens? Olivia Wilde gets fried. Didn't see that coming.
She gets electrocuted. And then for ages, like, Dr. Frank is, like, what you gonna? In my head, I'm like, well, you've got the serum. You've got the serum. You've come here for one reason.
Don't you?
So why are you taking so long to do it? But then everyone tries to kind of stop him, and they say things like, "This is crossing a line. This is a human being, not just a dog." Yeah, because fuck the dog.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, why is one life different to another?
It's not.
And they're like, don't play God. But I'm like, but also, like, if you think this works so well, then just get on with it.
Don't
really.
play God, play dog. Notice that dog is God backwards and vice versa.
Little tidbit for you guys there.
Everyone tried to stop him, and also the guard. All of a sudden, the guard has gone AWOL.
Yeah, Mr. Glover, I believe, is like some tech nerd, so he's hacked into the CCTV
And the guard is no longer sitting there, so they have to hide underneath all the beds or whatever they got in there, the
Spooky.
gurneys, and they cover Dr. Zoe, Olivia Wilde, with a sheet and place her on the gurney, I believe. And security guard walks by. Is he going to go in and see? No, of course not. He turns around again, and this is a bit that could have been good. Once the guard walks away and the camera goes inside, all of a sudden, Dr. Zoe sits upright in a white sheet in a darkened room.
I don't think we mentioned they did actually do the experiment on her in the end.
I thought that was it's probably was of course they do the experiment on her.
Yeah, and it didn't work. Guard comes, interrupts them, as you say, he goes past, and then we just see the sheeted figure sit up on the gurney.
Zoe under a sheet, and everyone's kind of like, oh my god, Zoe, she's back. And once they all calm down, then it's just Zoe and Dr. Frank left. She kind of like goes down and go, did I just die? Yes, you did. Yes, you did. So they're now doing science experiments on her, and her MRI is off. There's too much neural activity. Like, what is this?
Normally we only use 10% of our brains at a time, but she's
you get
using
that whole
it all.
thing. Yeah, you get that whole thing. And Zoe is now, she's preempting, once they've done the science test on her and they're sitting down talking to her, she's preempting everything that the person she's talking to is going
Yeah,
to
she can
say.
literally finish
she's
your
come
sentences.
back with powers.
And I think we didn't mention as well, which I guess is somewhat relevant here, I didn't really understand what side they were taking. Zoe's character is very Christian. She wears like the cross and she believes in heaven and hell and all of that sort of thing.
Because she's been.
Whereas her fiancé does not, atheist, I suppose.
Yeah, they
doesn't
tried,
believe in anything.
for one scene at least, they tried to get them to have a conversation about his beliefs versus her beliefs. And
but they come back
It was
to
hardly
it
Prince of
because-
Darkness, was it?
Because when Zoe has been resurrected and she seems, I guess, somewhat normal at the start, and it kind of keeps getting a bit weirder and weirder, but there is one point where she literally like tugs off her crucifix necklace and stuff as if she can't bear it. So is she
Why
like
might
going
that be?
demonic?
Why might that be? Yeah, so also her fingers have gone veiny, so we know that she's infected.
Yep,
She's got
fingers are
veiny
veiny.
fingers. And the dog at home now is growling at her, or in the lab, wherever they are. The dog's now growling at her, so off screen we hear, "Arr!" as she offs the dog. Zoe, she's aware that not everything is okay, because she goes to Frank and starts telling him, something's wrong since I came back. She's also seen, at one point, her dead reflection in the mirror, while she's in the bathroom, in the cracked mirror. That was quite a nice image, give it its due. So she sees that, and she says then to Frank that when I died, I went somewhere, and I was there for years, and I couldn't get out. And Frank is all, no, you were literally only gone for a minute or an hour, whatever it might have been. And she says no, she's adamant that wherever she was there for a year.
And she says essentially that this is hell. She went to hell.
Yeah, in this vision, we then get the young girl Ava in the hell room, which is like a corridor. And there's all these, there's a door at the end of the hallway, and there are all these fingers coming through the bottom of the gap at the bottom, and she sees a little
Ava's
shush girl.
documentary girl.
Yeah,
right.
she's a little shush girl, and then that's kind of the end of the first vision of it. So Zoe was in a burning building and apparently saw her neighbours trapped.
Yeah, so that's been the nightmare. The recurring nightmare is, this hallway on fire with people who can't get out of their apartment. And when you were talking about Ava being in that, she's gotten close to Zoe after Zoe's resurrection, and it seems like some sort of projection thing that Zoe has pulled Ava into that hell or, nightmare memory that she has.
Yeah. And
which understandably spooks Ava.
We keep having, it keeps getting mentioned like somebody's watching us, like as in some corporation is watching what they're doing or something like that, which it doesn't go anywhere. It
really doesn't.
They keep saying
so they use
someone's watching us.
They use it obviously because someone had to.
What are you drinking, by the way? Asahi. Very
Can
nice.
I finish my sentence? That was very rude, Johnny.
I've got Desperados. No, I wasn't. I was including you.
No, because I was in the middle of saying something.
Sorry, very sorry.
Yeah, okay. So, when they get rumbled by the dean to say they're not following the rules and all their stuff gets taken away, they're like, who told? Who told? We must have a rat. But no one's a rat. It turns out someone, for some weird reason, has just been watching them the whole time. And they do find all these, CCTV cameras everywhere, which, again, only comes in, one, to rumble them, and two, at the end of the movie, even though it takes them forever, because they're like, it's on a 10-minute delay. They already know everything that's happened here tonight. Do you remember that?
Yes, of course, yes.
And yeah, they do, the final scene, essentially, is the troopers storming the lab.
So someone's been watching them, and we now get another glimpse of one of Zoe's powers. She doesn't just preempt conversation. She can also float and get black eyes so that she can scare us, jump scare style, in the movie. And she then quickly starts. She's being overtaken now. She's bad-mouthed Ava at one point, as he's saying, "Oh, you'll never be anything special," kind of thing like this. And after this, we see Donald Glover isolated with her, and she comes on to him. He rejects her, so she
kills him.
So of course, she puts him in a filing cabinet and crushes it with her mind.
Yeah. If I came on to someone and they rejected me, I'd want to kill them.
My expose of what was going to happen was much more better and he died. Put him in a filing cabinet.
Crunch.
And crush him with your mind.
So again, she can mind control things, inanimate objects.
Because earlier on as well, when she first comes back, we see her move a pen with what might be her mind.
That was spooky,
we don't know yet, but she's rolling this pen around on. She hasn't got much control over it. She's not doing much with it.
Pretty
just rolling
scary.
it around.
Scary
so
stuff.
after all of this, Evan wants to call the police. Right? He's probably thinking, I'm not paranoid. There is a demon here. We need to call the cops, even though I've got this zoot stash somewhere. So Zoe stops them, though, by doing one of her other powers, turning off the lights. She turns off the lights, turns off the power with her mind, much like she moved a pen and crushed a filing cabinet with Donald Glover in it. So now they're locked in. She's locked them into the lab as well, so they can't escape, and they can't, because she also has super hearing. Because she hears people in the distance talk about, we gotta get her help, or we've got to do this, or take her out here.
And she can also hear people's thoughts. She can do everything.
So Evan wants to know what has happened to Donald Glover.
Yeah.
He's met
he's
his
getting
end
all up in her grill,
in a
as
filing
they would
cabinet.
say.
So she doesn't want to be questioned. So she now chokes him with his own vape.
That was so dumb. I don't think it was meant to be in any way funny. But
no.
Tell me that's not just like.
While she chokes him with his own vape, is there a message there? Smoking is bad. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the devil thinks so. So after that, what does she do? She cuts the lights again because they're momentarily coming on and off. She decides, right, I've had enough of them coming on and off. I'm going to turn them off fully now, and I'm going to control the furniture, and I'm going to stack it with my mind. So when the lights come on again, everyone's going to see that I'm standing here, and I've stacked all of the laboratory furniture.
I thought it was just floating in the air so that she could then chuck it on the other two survivors.
Some of it might have been floating in the air, very much so, yeah. So like I say, she's controlling all the furniture. So now, after this, we only have, because she's offed Evan, she's offed Donald Glover, so technically we've only got Frank and Ava left, and they're against Dr. Zoe.
Took Frank bloody ages.
They're alone now, Frank and Ava, and they're kind of hiding out in the hallway.
Can I actually just mention how annoying Dr. Frank is?
Yeah, I didn't like Dr. Frank.
He was so aggravating, right? Even before anyone started dying. He was just kind of dumb.
Well, he's invented the serum, so how dumb can he be?
Selfish. And
he's a mad scientist. Who's going to be
just no good, basically. Yeah, he sucked.
But again, I just found that all the characters in this were just so, it's like casting / character writing 101.
Yeah, but he in particular, I was like, oh, what a piece of work.
Yeah, you didn't like him in Creep either. Maybe got something against the actor in question. So their plan, Frank and Ava's plan, more Frank's plan is, look, I've got these 2 syringes. I'm going to give you 1 syringe, and you to stay here and practice it off. And I'm going to leave you and I'm going to go after Zoe in the hallway where what she's doing, she's turning on and off the lights. So, she really loves this power. That's what I imagine she's doing. And so he catches up with her in the hallway. Mm-hmm. But she quickly rumbles that he has a syringe on him. And before
she can
that,
read people's minds. I don't know what he was thinking.
The way that she reveals herself to him as well is she puts the lights on again, and he starts walking down the corridor, and she turns the lights off, and while they're off, she quickly stands next to him and turns them on again so that she can scare him like that. So really good use of the power that is turning off the electricity.
Yeah. So as we know, she can read minds, so it was kind of dumb of him to pretend stuff. And he's like, oh, we can get through this, I love you. And then she puts her hands, apparently now she needs physical contact, so she puts her hands on his head and reads his thoughts. She's like, I thought so.
Yeah, I thought so. Because I'm reading thoughts, your thoughts, my thoughts. A lot of thoughts. Yeah, like I say, she kills him, and now that he's dead, she turns off the lights again.
Yeah.
Turns off the lights. She doesn't want anyone to see, like, I've just killed this person. Better turn the lights off. And then she goes into the room and she injects loads of serum into her own head.
Yeah, she pumps up the serum.
Yeah.
This is all so strange. Because they keep saying that basically what the serum has done is made her engage more parts of her brain. So they're suggesting that all of these things you can do, ESP and mind, it's all
turn off the lights.
A capability we have, we just don't tap into.
Stack furniture.
Which is, okay, that's one thing, fine, but then why do her eyes go black? What's that got to do with using your brain?
So that we know that she is demonic now. And
do you think she's gone demonic because of the serum, or because she realised that she's going to hell and she's just given up?
Well, let's get down to more important stuff, because I feel like you're forgetting something. You're certainly forgetting something. Once Ava is now left in the dark, so only Ava is left, stupid classical vinyl music starts playing.
Oh, God, yes! I'm pretty sure
for the first time.
I'm pretty sure it's a Mozart aria thing, and it's not even, because she plays it earlier, right at the beginning of the movie, she plays it as like her background thing when she's working, and then she suddenly puts it on as if it's supposed to be scary.
Because she's a scientist. All scientists in movies, a lot of them anyway, listen to classical music.
Again, it's just kind of laughable. It doesn't have the effect at all. I think it's the voice, the fact that someone's singing, like classical music.
Yeah, ridiculously high.
Very impressive, but that doesn't make it pleasant.
No, it's not pleasant at all.
Yeah, it was just stupid.
Yeah, we now see, but I'm not sure where we might be now in the Hell Vision again, which Ava's already been in, which is the corridor.
So weird.
And while Ava is there in her meeting with Dr. Zoe Iron Man's her. So she's got the Iron Man power as well, without even wearing the suit. So she can do that, take that Iron Man. I bet Iron Man can't turn off the lights with just his thoughts, can he? But Zoe can.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
We then get the whole reveal.
Yeah, but
because the little shush girl's there again. And who's the little shush girl?
So Ava inexplicably has been put into this burning hallway vision again, and the same little girl that was there before is still there, and she puts two and two together and is like, wait a minute, that little girl is Dr. Zoe.
Yeah, the little girl's fiddling with something in her hand, she notices.
And she's got a box of matches in her hand.
So it turns out that Zoe set light to the apartment building.
Yeah.
Or whatever the hell they're in, this corridor.
Yeah, so she started it all. But then Ava, for some reason, seems to think that if she can get this vision little girl, Zoe, to open the door and let the burning people out,
she literally says,
all will be well.
Like, along the lines of, Zoe, it's you. You can open the door. You can open the door and then we'll all be saved. It's pretty much like that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's...
Brain dead stuff.
Dumb. And whilst she's trying to convince little girl Ava to open the door, we've got black-eyed... Oh, little girl Zoe, sorry. We've got black-eyed adult Zoe coming into the vision as well and like...
So then Ava syringes her.
Yes.
And while she's syringed, it seems like Zoe has briefly come back to her original self. She's like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Sorry. She dies, and then in the vision that continues, firefighters now come into the corridor, but even though she's just been syringed, Zoe immediately comes back as a firefighter, grabs hold of Ava, and ends her. We're not quite thin, what happens
really?
then is Zoe's, like I said, Zoe's now a firefighter, and she comes and kills Ava. Zoe then goes back to the lab and lines up all of the victims, so Dr. Frank, Donald Glover,
right.
Evan, and Ava, and she plugs them all into the serum, and all of a sudden, Dr. Frank wakes up, and then we are
I mean,
thin.
that's chilling. So clearly they're going for like, look, there's going to be a whole army of these crazy abilitied people.
People that can turn off the lights and stack furniture.
And make their eyes go completely black.
And have no need for conversation. If you really know what someone's going to say, you're not going to be much of a conversationist, are you?
It was really bland. It was really bland.
It was, like I said, this is so humdrum.
And
this
nothing
film.
new, nothing stand out.
Oh God, like I said, just bland.
Yeah.
Like you said, I'm kind of glad that I did see this film, because when I was watching it through, at some point I was like, this is exactly the opposite of what I'm going to be trying to achieve with Heathen. Just the complete opposite. It was boring to look at. It was all phoned in. I feel like the important people on the project, basically people that are in front of the camera and controlling what's going on in the camera, just were like, just whatever, basically. And I think one of the writers of this movie he's going to be writing a new Insidious movie. And he's also written Mortal Kombat 2, so I'm quite annoyed about that. Though he did, I must give him his due, apparently he also wrote, I'm not sure how much of, but certainly some of the Exorcist TV show, which was pretty good. So yeah, maybe he's got one more in him. Hopefully 2 more of Insidious and Mortal Kombat 2. But yeah, some questions at the end of this. Where was Ray Wise? Where was he? Just should have had him in there. Who was watching them? We don't know. Who cares? It didn't matter. So yeah, rock bottom for me, Lazarus Effect. Oh, I've written down here, the piece of music that keeps playing was called Queen of the Night, an aria from Magic Flute.
By Mozart?
I didn't write who it was from. Yeah, bland performances, bland cast, Hollow Man / Flatliners, but crap.
So moving on.
Yeah, we'll move on to my number 1, your number 2, the Belko Experiment, and that's the first problem with this film is that title. That title is so bad. It can only hurt the box office.
I instantly want to mention that this was almost just as bland as the Lazarus Effect, in my opinion. And again, how many times have we seen this story? Countless.
This is another, like I said, this is the second Blumhouse. So Blumhouse not having a good week, bottom and barely second. The one that's written by James Gunn, and it stars Tony Goldwyn and John C. McGinley from Scrubs. He plays Dr. Cox in Scrubs, who was one of the shining lights in this, because I actually really hated him in this film. Like, his character, I thought he was a total prick.
Yeah, but he was still just being... I mean, he wasn't doing anything different with the performance.
I was, because I've seen him a lot, obviously, watching the Scrubs. I was there were slight little things that he did differently, but they were the same. If you know what I mean.
He's got his characteristics.
His that funny smile thing that he does.
Yeah, everything. So.
Yeah, like I said, we open and we're in Bogota, and there are a bunch of workers who have driven to their place of employment, but they're stopped at the gates, and there's a kind of a National Guard outside patrolling and
heavily armed.
Yeah, knocking on everyone's windows saying ID, and like Mr. Goldman's like, ID? Why do I need to give ID for? Because he's obviously worked there for a while. And it turns out that the National Guard are sending all the natives home and only putting into the building 79 Americans and 1 Brit. Because there is 1 Brit in the movie, isn't there? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they are then escorted in let into the building. Like I say, only 8 of them, and we go from there.
Can I say the next bit?
Yeah, but the next bit I was only going to say is just once they go inside, we get probably 10-12 minutes of just general office stuff.
This is what I'm going to say. So we get a compilation of your typical
greatest hits office style.
Office stuff, people drinking coffee and having
talking
a water
by the
fountain.
water cooler.
Yeah, all of this stuff. Whilst we have what I assume is a Colombian cover of Gloria Gaynor's I Will Survive.
We get quite a few covers in this.
Yeah, but that one, I mentioned that whilst we were watching it. I was like, this is so weird. And At the time, you were like, give it a
minute.
Yeah.
Because at this point, it's only been on for 2 minutes.
But I knew straight away. I was like, no, this does not.
I knew straight away.
This does not work. Not for a horror movie, anyway.
I don't think whatever movies they put there, it wouldn't have mattered, to be honest.
Yeah, you don't need that much of office, boring, day-to-day shit.
Once we get through the 10-12 minutes of everyday office stuff and we've been introduced all the characters, like I think that the main character is called Mike, who you hated.
Oh, he was so annoying.
He's got a Latina girlfriend, it seems, who was recently divorced. And then also we've got John C. McGinley, who is the prick of the office. And who did I say his name was? Tony Goldwyn, who's like the leader
the CEO?
Of the office. Yeah, the CEO guy, who's also been... He's trained on how to kill, because he was like a Navy SEAL or whatever, wasn't he? Mm-hmm. A Marine. Yeah, so that's all given to us. We've got a
security guy, we've got the new woman.
Yeah, the security guy, who's, of course, the security guy's a little bit portly, and he's very affable. You know, everyone likes him. He's a good guy, because security guys are always good guys.
And our main guy is friends with everyone as well, by the way.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and we get that one woman who is, at the beginning of the film, we see her having her, like, welcome to the company meeting, and the employee who's, welcoming her is like, we want everyone to be comfortable here. Did you do this test? Did you get your apartment keys? Here's your car keys. And have you had your medical? And she's like, oh, yeah. And he let slip that for security reasons, for their own safety, all of the employees here have a location chip implanted in their craniums.
Once we're introduced to her and everybody else, the movie quickly moves on. So over the tannoy, over the speaker system in the office, we then have kind of a robotic voice that says, today's going to be quite different to the rest of your days of employ, and we want how many of you dead in the next, how long is it, 2 they start off with?
Three people, I think.
Want 2 or 3 people to die in the next half an hour, something like this. And at first, of course, all the employees are like, what the hell was that? One guy goes and looks, one guy gets angry, and he goes to the desk of the person who would normally be speaking through this microphone and finds that there's no one there. So he's a bit confused.
There's no one at the tannoy. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're all kind of, at this point, not so much believing, they're just kind of like shrugging it off.
Well, yeah, you'd think someone's pranking you and stuff, wouldn't you? You wouldn't actually think you need to do this.
For safety reasons, they leave the office and like go into the lobby or the entrance of the building.
Yeah, now is this before or after we get the...
it hasn't quite shuttered yet.
The shutters come up over every single
part of the building.
Window, and so they're completely locked in now. And... we get the typical reactions of a couple of people being like, maybe this is a bit strange. Most people thinking, oh, this is a prank. And then all of a sudden, 2 or 3 people, however many it was supposed to be, their heads explode. Yeah,
well, once again, you're rushing off too far. Once the building becomes shuttered, we have Michael Rooker and David Dastmalchian, I believe you say his name, who's like really taken off recently. He's the lead, I believe, or it seems like he's the lead in that thing called Late Night with the Devil, that horror movie. We're in a TV studio, you haven't seen it yet, but yeah, I've seen his name everywhere quite a lot. A la, like Pedro Pascal style almost. Oh, well, no one can be plastered ever as much as he is, but we love it, don't we? Absolutely love it. So yeah, when it gets shuttered, we've got David Dalmatian and Michael Rooker, and they're like maintenance guys in the building. Mm-hmm. So they start doing kind of like little experiments on the shutter, so they get like a blowtorch to it and things like this to see if they can get through the metal. And then David Dalmatian like touches it, it's like, it doesn't even get hot, kind of thing. So it's like, what is this material then?
I don't know.
Do you know what metal this is? Yeah. And like I say, so no one's died yet because they're not going to start killing each other. So like you say, all of a sudden, people's heads start exploding. Once this happens, there's obviously panic, mass hysteria. So our lead character, Mike, he goes into a bathroom, like gets... What does he get? A pen? Something like this?
No, he gets one of those
box cutters.
Yeah.
And he starts going into the back of his head to take out his little explosives, because they all kind of work out that the tracker in the back of the head is the thing that's obviously doing it.
Interjection here, quickly, because as he's, going around looking for some sort of sharp instrument to do this, his office girlfriend is following him around, being like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I can help. What are you doing? And he's just like... just silence, no communication, ignoring her.
But also, how can she help?
Well, she could cut for one thing. It would make a lot more sense than blindly trying to cut the back of your head open.
But she doesn't know that he's going to do that, is he? So
no, but he could tell her.
So she's thinking, I can help you, but with what? Yeah, and you're right. Yeah, he could just told her.
That was the first moment where I was like, I hate this guy.
I hate this guy.
And why are you stressing her out and not just fill her in? You can still keep moving. You can walk and talk at the same time, can't you?
So once he's trying to take out this explosive device in the back of his head in the mirror, the tannoy comes on again, and it gives him a warning countdown saying, if you don't stop trying to take the bomb out of the back of your head, then we're just going to explode you. And he decides to stop with about 2 seconds left. And now he's got a giant gash in the back of his head, and everyone has to tape him up. David Dalmatian and Michael Rooker, the maintenance guys, they're kind of walking around now in the basement of the building, and the girl that's been interviewed, as you mentioned, I've written her down as hideout girl, because she's just constantly hiding out in the tunnels below. And David Dalmatian, he's really starting to freak out a little bit, isn't he? He doesn't trust Michael Rooker anymore after this starts to happen, and some more stuff happens, which is kind of irrelevant. And Mr. Dalmatian, he gets he has a hammer or he has a wrench, doesn't he? And Michael Rooker comes a bit too close to him, so he wrenches him in the head and gives him this giant dent in his head.
Which new girl has witnessed, and then gets noticed being the witness, and so he attacks her.
Yep.
And she pushes herself off the wall in his grasp so that he falls backwards onto a spike, and he's also off.
Yeah, there are 3 kind of like nails or bolts coming through the wall, and yeah, his head is pierced by all 3 of them.
We haven't even mentioned at this point again. So after the tannoy speakers first said, 2-3 people, whatever, they didn't do it, so they exploded people's heads. Then they were like, right, there are this many of you left. You need to kill.
That literally comes now. Like you said, they missed it out, but it comes now.
Oh, right.
We want 30 dead in 2 hours, or we'll kill 60 of you. Yeah. So now we get a little Dawn of the Dead kind of thing, because it also some people have previously gone to the rooftop of the building, and one of them has been sniped because there's a guy in the guard tower, and there's people all around this National Guard from the beginning of the movie, and it's all very Dawn of the Dead when they're on the rooftop of the building trying to lay out sheets with messages on it like we're trapped.
But that comes after they first try and react to decide what they're going to do. So you've got this big group of people. I think we're at like 70 people at this point or something, and they're supposed to kill 30. All 60 will be offed apparently. And so, of course, apparently. You've got the inevitable division of opinions.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Split in group, yeah.
Yeah. So the CEO guy is the main one to head, let's comply.
Mr. Goldwyn, the actor, John C. McGinley, and a couple of other, big, large guys, the alphas or the angry men of the office.
But it's the CEO who does conduct everything, isn't it? And he even goes to that one British guy and convinces him by saying, well, you've got kids and a wife, my kids and wife need me, don't they? Yours need you, so we should just go and get the others so that we can survive.
Previously to this as well, the CEO guy, he has gone to the security guard and demanded that he hand over the keys to the building, and in particular they'll have this key to this certain...
The armoury.
Yeah, the armoury of the building. Have an armoury in the office.
What kind of office building? Plus...
Well, this is Columbia.
Apparently this company deals with, finding work for Americans abroad or whatever. Yeah. So why do they have an armoury? Turns out, of course, the people who have shut them in there and are over the tannoys must have planted it there for this particular reason. But no one questions it before that. Security
guard, he refuses to give the keys over to Mr. CEO. And Mr. CEO is all, I'm your boss. He's like, well, I quit then. And I don't have to do anything you say anymore. And he keeps hold of the keys. And this is really when the split begins, because he goes off with Mike and his girlfriend and a couple of other kind of secondary characters, while, like you say, all the alpha males band together.
Another reason now that I didn't like Mike. So you've got the CEO who's pro-complying, and you've got Mike who's like, no, we can't turn into killers. That's completely a no-no. And his girlfriend is kind of like, well, we should at least be able to discuss everything as a group. And the next thing you know, when he's storming off, he won't talk to her because he's so pissed off that she even had the balls to suggest that it should be up for discussion. I was like, well, who made you the know-all, be-all, the god of ethics?
Baby, isn't he?
He's so annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, he really sucks.
He really sucks.
He sucks more than Dr. Frank from Lazarus Effect.
He
Certainly.
does.
Yeah,
he was so like self-righteous.
He's
and
the most
stuff as well.
sucky character of the week, definitely. Ugh. Yeah.
But yeah, so we've got the division. We've got, as you said, the CEO with the alpha males group who've decided that they need to survive for their family's sake.
A bunch of people have taken knives as well previously from like the kitchen or whatever and armed themselves. And that also causes, mayhem as well. Like, what are you doing? Why are you grabbing knives? We're not going to kill each other, all that kind of thing. And so I've written now that the arseholes get the Keys guns and they do the whole 18 years and 60 years or over thing. But has there already been a death in the stairwell which kicked all of that off first?
So, so there's a thing that happens. The Alpha group, the three of them in particular, actually, they take the blowtorch thingy that had been, the maintenance were trying to open the door with.
It's not getting hot.
And our main group, the security guy and the couple, notice that the blowtorch is gone. They're like, where is it? So they go to the armory, and you've got the three of them just there, like, trying to blowtorch their way into the armory.
You've got John C. McGinley with his mask on, blowtorching away.
And there's a confrontation between these two trios. Security guy pulls out his gun, and again, what's our main guy, the annoying guy called again? Mike is like, no, you can't use force with force, and like gets him to put the gun down, and they start, firing away at the armory again. And what does he do? He takes the security guy's gun and like blasts the gas supply off.
Mm-hmm. Not with
and
one,
the security guy's like, oh, that was so badass.
Once the whole "that's so badass" thing, they're all together like in an elevator or something like this, and the security was like, now they know who they fucking with.
It was so dumb. Whereas the girlfriend, who's been the only like voice of reason this whole movie, by the way, she's like, oh, Mike, did you really have to do that? Like, you've made yourself an enemy of these guys, and they're not the kind of guy you want to mess with. And she's not wrong. But he gets away pretty scot-free. Essentially, what they do, they break into the armory, as you kind of mentioned, and they knock him out in the stairwell. They get a fire extinguisher and on the head, so he's knocked out. But for some reason, they don't kill him, which I found very strange. They take the girl, they don't kill her either.
Events have really taken a turn at this point. It's like, there's no point in leaving these people alive anymore. Exactly.
They've decided they're going to kill these 30 people. So I was like, well, why aren't you offing them? So they herd everybody into the lobby, which is when they do that thing. But for some reason, one of the alpha guys with his gun, who's herding people in the basement, spots the new girl, hiding girl,
and
decides to just let her be. Again, I was like, this film is like really, pro letting women just get away with it, apparently.
James Gunn, feminist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, as you were going to say.
So the arseholes with their guns, they tell the rest of the employees, if you are, 18 years?
If you have children under 18 years old.
If you have children under 18 years old, that's it. Go and stand on this wall. If you're 60 years or over, go and stand over there. So you can obviously see they're splitting them up. They decided we're going to kill the older ones and we're going to let people who have young children survive. One guy comes out of somewhere and he's like, I've got to look after my mother or something like this. And he's
is he under 18? No, asshole.
Yeah, exactly. So after this, they decide to line these people up execution style, get them on their knees and face away from them.
The problem is as well, obviously, in this corporation, there aren't 30 people over 60 who are working there. So
they just go like...
He starts just... You.
Complete random, is it?
And again, how many times have you been... Well, I certainly have in my career, but how many times have you been in a crowd where like a couple of people are going to be picked out by someone, and if you want to be chosen, you make eye contact. If you don't want to be chosen, you just kind of inconspicuously make yourself as invisible as possible. Yeah. Then, it's so obvious. And yet there were people in this crowd who were like, I don't want to die. Pick me.
Yeah. Hey,
stupid.
Don't kill me.
And again, the CEO, he does choose Mike this time.
Yeah.
But he doesn't choose his girlfriend. And as far as I can tell, neither of them have kids and stuff. So
no.
There's no reason to differentiate
But they have started to shoot people in the back of their heads now. And hideout girl, you call it interview girl, new girl. Hideout girl has now come up from the basement, and she's opened the door into where this is all happening. Seen what's going on. Thought, I don't want any part of that. Shut the door again and wandered off. But she's thought, I'll give him some kind of respite. So she shuts off the power. The power is down. And while the power is down, of course, again, there's pandemonium. Everyone's running around. People are getting blasted.
Escaping,
just in
going
the dark.
up stairwells, random shots being
And
fired.
while it all calms down and everyone's kind of escaped and got into their own little space, the tannoy comes on again and tells them that 29 people have been killed out of the 30 they need, and they now only have 2 minutes for someone to kill one more person.
Yeah.
So CEO guy tries his best to hunt someone down.
Yeah, but I think, doesn't he try and hunt Mike down or something, and he gets foiled? And then the tannoy is like, well, you guys failed, so now we're just going to blow up 31 people.
And that's when you get the scene of just like...
And we've got one guy as well, there's like a stoner guy character who's kind of been in and out throughout.
That's Sean Gunn, James Gunn's brother, who is in every single James Gunn movie, it seems.
Right. Well, he's the stoner guy in this who kind of has his own theory, and he's like, it's all in my head. It's all in my head. And you see like desk tables being like when someone's head is blown up beneath it and stuff. Yeah, it's quite a long sequence of just stuff being blown up.
I thought that was okay. I thought that was all right. You know, in terms of
it's fine.
I've obviously got this number one. And I thought it was just a typical, hour and a half, just turn your brain off and just let it go like that.
I think part of it for me was that I found Mike
so aggravating,
annoying.
yeah.
And then it was literally just like a paint by numbers one of these, because we've seen a few films where they're like, oh, to survive you have to like kill other people and stuff like this. Yeah. And I was like, it couldn't be more samey. There was not even one reaction where I was like, oh, that's a bit different. And surely in a group of 80 people, you'd get one mentalist, just, I don't know what they would do. But no, it was all very predictable.
When, it's called the Belko Experiment, and the company they work for is called Belko. And one thing that I did enjoy, after this multiple head blast bit, there's just some graffiti on the wall showing, which says, Belko, suck my vag. So anything which involves suck my vag,
you're
in literary terms, I'm alright with that. Yeah. Then I don't know what I'm getting at here, but after I've written Belko sucks my vag, I've then written lift/elevator death. Yeah.
So new girl, and one of the office friends she made that morning before things went wrong. Very friendly gay guy, apparently slightly sassy.
Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah.
He's in the elevator, like, putting the top thing off, and he sees her and is like, come on, let's hide. So they hide in probably one of the smartest places you could think of, which is above the elevator.
Oh, yeah, I know what it is.
The only problem is that the CEO, I think at this point they've been told, only the person, from all of you who are left alive, which isn't that many, the person who's killed the most other people will be the only survivor. And they give a tally, and obviously CEO is in first place, and then Scrubs guy is in second place, and so on, so on. So yeah, the two that we mentioned are on top of the elevator, and CEO guy is like, oh, I need to go find some more people to kill. So he gets in the elevator, and he presses a button to go to the top floor, and they notice it, and for some reason the new girl, Heidi girl, like, just slides off the edge of the elevator and ends up in a groove in the wall, so she survives it. But unfortunately, Happy Gay Guy is not so lucky, and he gets crushed in the shaft.
At this point, we've got Sean Gunn now, James Gunn's brother, stoner guy, as you said, it's all in my head. He's removing the bombs from the backs of the dead people's heads, so he has these tiny pellets, which apparently are also explosives, even if they're not done by the remote control.
Yeah, so him and a mate, they've been emptying all the water things in the building, because they're like, it's the water, it's getting into your mind.
This isn't cabin fever.
And now their next idea is, to go to all the dead bodies and pick out the tiny little bomb things.
As you said, we're down to...
Sorry, I was going to say, though, bearing in mind we see the devices that are in their heads.
Little pellets.
And it makes me question again. I'm like, how did Mike not get it out in the first place?
Because
it's small, like, as an object, but
it's
for
still
something
marble
that's just
big, isn't it? Yeah.
Under your skin, you'd think it would be pretty easy. It's not like they've gone into the actual cranium, is it?
Classic Mike. It's messed up again. So you mentioned there's not too many people left at this point. So we've got John C. McGinley, Dr. Cox from Scrubs, he's stalking around, and he's previously, since the beginning of the movie, he's been shown to be a nuisance to Mike's love interest,
He
Latina
fancies
girl.
her.
Yeah,
He's
he
a bit of a
fancies
pervert.
her. Exactly. He doesn't like being called a pervert either.
No,
Remember? Yeah,
I don't think many people do like being called a pervert.
He goes crazy when people call him a pervert. But anyway, he meets his maker, and another bit I liked about this is him getting his face axed in with some pretty good gore.
Yeah. She takes her revenge, doesn't she? She gets
Multiple
him under a table
blows to
and
the
just
face with an axe.
Axes his face open.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't bad.
Now finally, it's the part we've all been waiting for. It's the resolution, conclusion of the love story of the movie between Mike and his divorced Latina office colleague girlfriend. Because, you've already mentioned that quite a lot in this movie. She's moaning at him, he's ignoring her, they've fallen out.
She's reasonable and good looking. He's annoying and very average.
And now, though, because of all that's happened, obviously there's a reconciliation, but she doesn't last very long, does she?
No, so she takes a stray bullet. I think it's from the CEO guy. She takes a stray bullet, and they're hiding out together, the two of them, and she just slips away.
Yeah.
So I think you've only got like. Oh, and also New Girl, she gets in the
hideout
elevator.
girl
For some reason, she decides to leave her hiding spot.
Mm-hmm.
Goes down in the elevator. Doors open. CEO sees her. Boom, she's done.
Which is stupid because, like I said,
really stupid.
She's peeked in the door earlier on, seen executions, and yet she's like, "Oh, I'm not going to stay down here now.
Yeah,
I'm going to go back where all the mayhem is taking place."
She's been doing the, I suppose, kind of smart thing and hiding out this whole time. And then right at the end, she's like, "Oh, I'm just going to try the elevator and go out and see what's going on." It's like, no.
Yeah, maybe it's all ended now.
That's the end of you.
Yeah. Maybe she came up because she figures that she has to go and kill people as well. Maybe that's possibly why she's then so right. I better get up there.
It's not made
start
clear.
Slaying.
Is it?
Yeah.
She doesn't have any weapons, so that's, I don't know.
So now your favourite Mike is the last one standing.
Mike and CEO.
And CEO, yeah.
And CEO obviously has
in a
a
very
lot more deaths.
underwhelming finale.
Has a lot more deaths under his belt than Mike does, clearly. So we're like, oh well, Mike's going to be offed then. But no, of course, can't be because Mike. How does he even off the CEO? Because he's like, it's your fault. She's dead, and he kills him. But...
Doesn't he get him in rear naked choke or something like that? But because first of all, CEO's got him in a rear naked choke. He manages to get out of it, and then he's like, "Oh, I don't have to do that now, so I'm going to rear naked choke you." I think that's how it ends. But either way, like I said, it's completely underwhelming. This ending.
Very.
So now also. Did you say that the Tannoy said that if more than one of you are left, we're just going to have the person who's killed the most is going to win? Why is the CEO even engaging him? And not just stay away like, I've killed the most people, I'm just going to go and hide somewhere, and he's going to have much chance for finding me in this giant Belko building, is he?
Yeah, it's so daft. It makes no sense.
Yeah. So now that Mike is last one standing, the doors open, the shutters are up, and he
Congratulations, Mike.
Yeah, he ends up being escorted out of the building by the National Guard guys. And he's taken to this room just outside the building. Yeah, hangar.
Why is there just a random plane hangar right next to this office building when nothing else is around?
Well, why is the office building in the middle of nowhere as well? Which they start talking about at one point, don't they?
Like, that's it as well. The stoner guy had been like, do you guys even know the contract you signed? They can literally do anything they want to us legally and, all of this stuff.
Because the stoner guy always has the knowledge.
Of course.
We've had it before with Evan Peters and Lazarus Effect. And now we've got it here. We also have it in Cabin in the Woods with the stoner guy. He's got the knowledge.
Yeah. Oh, and we also had that one random guy who went around doing homemade, flame bombs. He got a bunch of,
flame bomb!
Bottles and filled them with flammable liquid and, chucked them around before he got offed.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were some people going very...
flame bomb.
Mental.
Is that the official word?
No, but I've forgotten what it's called. It's got...
Molotov cocktail.
Yeah. So, anyway, we're in this hangar. And Mike, annoying Mike, is the sole survivor of the experiment. And he's now being... Questioned. So, he finds out, obviously, these people run this experiment for in the name of science. In the name of science.
Yeah.
But we're not given any more questions than that because, the next thing they say is, we're not here to answer your questions.
And also in the hangar it's shown that there's this kind of control point and it has everyone's name next to a light, and if you press the button, that's what's been exploding everyone's heads. And even... no, actually, no, that's wrong. The guys in the room who question him probably don't have their name on there.
No, of course not.
No.
So, but what we'll quickly find out before Mike answers
This
any
was
of their...
the dumbest bit, by
It
the way.
was
The
so
ending
stupid.
was the dumbest part.
And again, we've seen this 100,000 times. Not the bit I'm about to say, but the bit that comes straight after. So Mike, whilst he was being brought in by the 2 armed guards and stuff, he somehow managed to get one of these little explosive
Pellets.
balls,
Balls.
onto every person in that hangar. And so before he answers any questions, he's like...
So basically when he's been dragged in by the National Guard, he's like
Had
taken
the
by both
presence of
arms,
mind.
but he's managed to have gone along like
boop.
and popped a couple of bombs on all of them without them noticing.
And the guy who's doing the questioning, I think only one of them hasn't got it on him. But anyway, he's like... He then again, he tells them, he's like, when you were pulling me in here,
One
I
thing
put
you
an
guys
explosive on each
don't
of
know
you.
is that I did this. And then, we get that little flashback of what he's just done.
So stupid. And he launches
That was
himself
bad. That was
at
really
the
bad.
control board and manages to flip every single switch apart from his own, which is quite impressive, I thought. Like, he hasn't had a chance to study this control board. He's just gone in, like... he has to do it quickly because they're right there.
And he's always also managed to plant bombs stealthily on National Guard and not the guy sitting there, but at least the National Guard. So Mike is the man, clearly.
And also, like, he was the one who was so adamant that, like, no, it's not our responsibility to decide who lives and dies and stuff. And then apparently he's just completely...
Well, he's flipped, hasn't he? And once he's killed the people in the hangar...
Oh, this is the bit
then get the end stage 1, commence stage 2, and like the camera zooms out from him standing in the parking lot with like a gun looking up at the sky. And we're going to commence part 2 now with all these giant television screens behind him.
Yeah, no. So it zooms out and it transitions into like CCTV style shot of him. And then lo and behold... Belko Experiment has been going on everywhere because we've got all the other survivors from different Belko buildings around the world standing there doing their various things, which are all very strange reactions, by the way.
So, the Belko
Shit
Experiment,
movie.
a movie about as good as its title. Music by Tyler Bates, though, so not bad there.
Oh yeah, we also what was it? Hotel California, Colombianized. That was the credits song.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That was pretty good. After reading all that now, we're going to move on to what is your number 1, which I was certain you were going to put bottom. My number 2 pick, Mortuary, which I think is from 2012. Directed by Tobe Hooper. And just to get into the beginning, we got a fatherless family. They've been on the road for 6 hours, and this family consists of Dan Byrd from Cougar Town and the Hills Have Eyes remake, and also Denise Crosby of Dolly Dearest and Pet Sematary, and is also Dan Byrd's younger sister in the car.
Oh, right. Okay, so...
As in character, yeah.
Okay, right. Yeah, I didn't know who was who from the women.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got a mum, son,
the little
and daughter.
girl wasn't in Pet Cemetery in like 1991.
But there was a recent remake.
Yeah. Even
so
then, she'd be pretty young for that. Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, we've got the three of them. They get to this place. Turns out, they've moved across country because mum has gone to college after all and gotten a degree, and she's now been offered a job, and she's going to be a mortician.
Hence the
Mortuary.
Title, Mortuary. And they get to the house, and it's this kind of unscrupulous businessman called Elliot showing them around the place. And he's kind of like hunched over a bit, and he's constantly
with his cane, and he's
laughing.
Always laughing.
And he's going on about the septic tank
overflowing.
Not to pass. But he does have a friend who's expensive, but he can fix it for you. Yeah,
I have to really question the mother's sense here. Mm-hmm. I mean, she's bringing 2 kids, the girl is really young especially, into this property. And there is such a thing as a fixer-upper. But this is like... I would consider this, in the state it's in, to be unlivable. It's disgustingly dilapidated
but
and
she's
full
gonna
of
get
like
to
moldy
be it's her
shit.
first mortician job out of college.
There's like brown water coming out the kitchen sink.
Yeah, of course, when we go into the house, the first thing we see is a coffin. There's also a piano, scary piano, and like you said, the taps run with brown liquid, and there's also chemicals around the house
Lots
too.
of salt.
Yeah, and the little girl is really, really into the coffins, really drawn to
Daddy?
the coffins. And there's lots of coffins,
Bit
and
dark.
after we see Johnny, Dan Byrd's character, Johnny, is exploring the house. And as he's exploring, he gets into a bedroom or the basement, and he sees an engraving of Bobby
It's in the attic.
F.
Yeah, there's an attic bedroom with that.
So he asked to
engraved
have
in
that
it.
room, of course.
And it's also got bars over the windows. And it
Very
looks
ominous.
just as unappealing as all the other rooms. And he's like, can I have this room? What a freak.
So they've moved into the house now, it seems. They're going to take it. Like we say, we've got brown liquid running and coffins and scary pianos and names engraved in banisters and stuff. So Dan Byrd decides he's had enough of this. So he's
And
gonna,
they're directly opposite a cemetery.
yeah, he's going to listen to some death metal, burn a zoot, and then we're going to become privy to some growth coming from the drain. And now because he's burnt this zoot, he goes and asks his mum, Leslie, can I borrow the car? Because, he's got the munchies. So he finds this local cafe. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he goes in there and he asks the cafe owner lady for whatever food they've got. He said they've got no food except some 3 turkey sandwiches left over from lunchtime.
That is vital information, guys.
He decides to take them and also ask for an application. And while he's doing this, there are 3 kind of little gits sitting in a booth, and they're all laughing at him, giggling.
Yeah, like the cool
him.
kids.
Yeah. So he but then the cafe
They
owner,
obviously find a lot of things very funny because they don't stop laughing either.
the cafe owner decides to take some kind of pity on Johnny/Dan Byrd and gives him the 3 turkey sandwiches for free. And pretty much just says, don't even worry about the application. I'm pretty much just going to take you on to celebrate. He goes outside, smokes another zoot, and goes to the cemetery. While he's in the cemetery, we see some zoomy shadows, zoomy shadows. And while this happens, he falls to the floor and he finds a necklace. Next thing I remember is we cut and we got the mother, Leslie. She's in like the kitchen, and she's separating out loud, saying, kitchen utensil, embalming tools. Kitchen utensil, embalming tools, because she's separating them in a comedic kind of way. And this is the sole reason that the movie didn't get number 1 for me, is because nowhere in any write-up anywhere did it say the word comedy or light-hearted or horror comedy. It said words like dark, thriller, horror. It didn't say anything about comedy, so I wasn't expecting any comedy, and it pretty much is all comedy. This is it's a comedy horror, isn't it?
Well,
so that's what really disappointed me. I thought I was going to get a dark movie, but no, got this light-hearted thing where you could see things like separating embalming tools from cutlery is quite funny in theory and things like this. And when she gets excited about doing her first embalming and things, I can see what they were going for. But I just think I was just so disappointed that it wasn't going to be in the vein that had been promised to me.
It kind of was the opposite for me. The reason this got first place for me was because it was the only one of the 3 that didn't seem to be taking itself so seriously and not providing anything for that.
It has that. The reason I would have put it number 1 is because it does have the classic Tobe Hooper insanity all throughout the movie. Like his kind of thing is all over the film. So when she's separating this stuff, we go back to the cafe, and the 3 gits in the booth who've been laughing at thing like this, like the next day or something, they end up getting into a little bit of fisticuffs, didn't they? And I should also mention there's a cafe girl. So we've got cafe owner woman and cafe girl.
Yeah, the owner and her niece who works there.
And cafe girl has what seems to be a boyfriend as well, which Dan Byrd / Johnny's
very disappointed in, because
how was he going to get in there after this
he was trying to shine on her right under the auntie's nose as well. Like as soon as he met her, he's like, hey,
well, you got to take your chances. And I feel like she's the kind of auntie that'd be happy just for her young niece to be in a relationship. She's one of those. So after this fight with the guy called Cal of the 3 gits, there's 1 guy and 2 girls, by the way. They're in like a throuple, aren't they? You're a throuple. Something about this Bobby F guy is mentioned again, Bobby Fowler, and it kind of ends with, who's Bobby Fowler? And we'll find out who Bobby Fowler is a little bit later, because he gets explained to us by Cafe Girl. So the next bit is, you've mentioned there's a graveyard opposite the mortuary, right?
Yes, I have.
And the mum is now kind of snooping around the graveyard, and she goes into this kind of sepulchre kind of thing, like a stone graveyard. And there's some stairs going down. So she takes a torch, or whatever, and when she gets to the bottom, there's this kind of like chamber thing, which of course she has the key to. Mm-hmm. So she's about to go and open it, and she's disturbed by the sheriff turning up.
You're wrong. She does open it, but as soon as the key turns. Well, I think that's important because she's unlocked something.
But it's obvious she's going to unlock it because I just said she has the key. Basically, when I said she doesn't get to open it, she basically doesn't go in it. So yeah, it's partly open.
She's unlocked it.
She disturbs.
She's unlocked it.
Thanks for clearing that all up for us.
And also, you briefly mentioned, but you didn't really go into when she's doing her first embalming thing. And like you said, she's got like all the liquids, and she also doesn't seem to be very proficient.
Because we're not there yet. I just mentioned it as in coming later. Yeah. So when the mum is inside, we know she's disturbed, as I said, by the Sheriff Howley. And he's warning her about the teens in the area because all they do is come together in the graveyard and make graveyard babies. So he said, between the pair of us, we can stop graveyard babies. That's what he's most concerned with. There must be a pretty slow-moving town if this is what he's trying to do, is just stop birth rates going up through teens. And he mentioned stuff like, oh, there's something in the ground and this place is damned and all the cattle are all, contaminated and things like this. And also Bobby Fowler is still alive. Everyone has to mention, like, Cafe Owner Woman has to mention that Bobby Fowler is still alive. He mentions it, someone else mentions it, and we get now Cafe Girl sitting on the porch with her boyfriend explaining to Johnny what the whole Bobby Fowler thing is.
So it turns out the Fowlers are an ancient family, one of the first families to settle in this area. And since the dawn of this settlement, they have been the morticians. Mm-hmm. So it runs in the family. And by the time Bobby was born, he was born like with a cleft lip and apparently some other, I don't know, things that made him...
Cafe Girl says that he's deformed and he'd been abused with chains, matches, embalming tools. And she's convinced
by his parents
that he's still alive. They can't prove it, but they all know. And later on, the other Fowlers were found with their heads bashed in, and now apparently Bobby wears a shroud. Mm-hmm. Yeah, burial shroud.
Yeah. Are we at her first embalming job now?
No, we go back to the cafe now. No, sorry, not to the cafe. We go back to the graveyard, and the three little gits are wandering around the graveyard.
They're pissed off at
graffin.
Graffiti.
Yeah.
They're pissed off. So they turn up drunk, apparently. The acting was quite questionable, I have to say. And they're like, oh, I know what will get him. Let's just graffiti some red spray paint over the, gravestones and stuff. That'll really teach him, won't it?
Maybe get down some fingering in the graveyard. And I'm also going to go and whiz on a bunch of graves as well. And talk to the graves. Like, hey, sorry, man, I'm whizzing on you.
And they end up going into the Fowler family tomb.
Yeah.
And exploring, and they go down, and the guy apparently is a dirty pervert because he gets turned on by being surrounded by dead corpses and starts getting it on. The two girls get a bit territorial as well.
Yeah.
Because they both want a bit of that. And
like I said, they're in a throuple.
Whilst they're getting it on...
So this Cal must be quite the man.
Must be, right? Yeah. They get interrupted by some figure that, quickly cuts away, so they don't really see. But
I assumed it was Bobby Fowler.
It's obviously Bobby Fowler, yeah. So that's
I'm pretty sure the person has a shroud on his face as well, so that was a bit of a dead giveaway. So we've just been told by Cafe Girl that he wears a burial shroud, yeah. And he pops out of, a tomb.
Yeah, the newly unlocked tomb.
So no more group sex, please, is what he's saying in here. We can't be doing that.
No tombstone babies.
Yeah, as I mentioned, though, Cafe Owner's already said that Bobby is still alive. Leslie has also said, I don't know how she knows that Bobby's still alive, since she's just moved to town. Maybe because she's been told by the sheriff, possibly. Yeah, I
didn't think Leslie knew anything about Bobby.
I think because she's been told at this point already by Sheriff Howell that she now mentions it to Johnny so that he can hear it again for a third time. And Cafe Girl now, Johnny might be in here because Cafe Girl wants to see his embalming room. I'm thinking, right, he's in here. Now he's definitely in because the supposed boyfriend shows up, and what? He's gay. So he was just a gay best friend all along, although they were certainly acting like they were much more intimate than friend and just gay best friend.
Yeah.
So it's all turn up roses for Johnny now. She wants to go into his house, see the embalming room, and he's got no competition left.
Yeah, and he does oblige and convinces his mum to let them down as well. But this is the weird thing. So after being so keen, being like, I want to see the embalming room. I want to see a dead body. Please, please show me a dead body. And then she sees a dead body. She's like, I can't believe you showed me that dead body.
Yeah, because it's her piano teacher, which is another shot at like comedy. I can't believe it. That's my piano teacher.
I have a lesson tomorrow.
Yeah, that thing. And that's when we get Leslie saying, sorry, I'm so excited about my first embalming, which again could have been, the execution just wasn't on for the comedy in this for me, unfortunately.
No.
And it was unfortunate.
And we get
like
now...
I've written here, the good line could have worked. Yeah.
We get now Leslie trying to...
I've also written the embalming scenes should have been great. I thought, when she's down there and she's like plugging all the stuff into him and all that, I just thought it could have been done way cooler. Maybe at this point, Tobe Hooper was just somewhat phoning it in 2012 a little bit.
Well, I was going to continue with the story, but since you brought that up, my biggest pet peeve throughout this film as well was that I could see the sets and stuff just hadn't been made very well. It felt like a film set that had been created rather than... You
weren't immersed.
No, the tombs and stuff, I could almost see the polystyrene and stuff. I was it just didn't quite bring you into that world, did it? So that was a shame. But yeah, going back now to Leslie and the dead bodies that she's got to work her magic on. We get, again, I suppose, a somewhat comedic attempt here where she's got, one thing to take blood out and one tube to put some embalming fluids in. And she's got her book being like, right, I need to put it here, I need to put it there. And next thing you know, it all just kind of falls apart. And there's just stuff gushing everywhere.
Yeah, see, you've actually described it, the way you described it there, saying she's putting stuff in and reading the book and stuff gushing everywhere. And that's obviously in the embalming scene, but it just... There was something, all that stuff should be great together, and it just kind of wasn't. I was thinking that it should be in, if you're really putting it off, it would have been a Reanimator vibe type, but
yeah,
and that's what kind of I feel like they've gone for a bit, but it just didn't.
I think it also
didn't happen
went on a bit too long because at this moment we've got the sheriff's back and he's knocking on the front door.
Yeah, because there's been mass weed smoking again, because they take Johnny to his room and they're like, "Hey, do you mind if we spark up?" And he's like, not at all, because he's been burning zoots.
Yeah, but I don't think that's why the sheriff was there, was it?
No, it's not why he was there, but they start burning zoots, and then when the sheriff shows up, they all start panicking because they've been smoking weed.
Yeah, so the kids are in the attic room smoking, the mum's down there with fluids flying everywhere, so no one wants to answer the door, and the sheriff keeps banging. So, like I said, I think it went on too long with the embalming fluid stuff, because it was it was just ages.
He was banging at the door for a long time.
A really long time.
Yeah, and I've also written at that point, so when this scene is going on, I can't remember what the music was, but I've written stupid music choice. Yeah, whatever that might have
well
been.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
But anyway, what the sheriff has actually come to say is he wants to speak to Leslie's son, who
about
has
the
to,
fisticuffs.
The other two try and help him smell a bit less like marijuana. And he eventually comes down and the sheriff says, basically, we know you got in a fight with this guy, and he and the two girls, so the trio of idiots, are all missing.
Yeah, so after he questions Jonathan about that, Hal then goes walking, so we've obviously got the entire family except for the little girl outside the house, right? And Hal now decides to go walking around the graveyard in the daytime, and he spots the graffiti, and he says, first vandalism, then babies, because his whole thing is stopping babies, so he knows if he sees that this is what's been happening. He now walks in to the Fowler tomb, and while he's in there he gets got he's grabbed.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention again, so we said earlier when the house is dilapidated that there's mouldy things around, and again we notice when Leslie finally leaves the embalming room and there's blood and dead bodies and stuff, this CGI stringy black mold stuff comes from the drain, up to the bodies and stuff. So
yeah, it's going. Yeah, what I said at the beginning of the movie, when we see the black stuff coming out the drainage, like you say, now going into the dead bodies in the mortuary. Like I say, so Hal has been grabbed, and while he's being grabbed, the little girl, the little sister, is in the house, and she starts screaming because she's seen someone come out of her closet, and a tattered rag has been left behind. So
was it all in her imagination?
Could it be? Yeah. Now we go back, and Cafe Girl asks to come over again while her and Johnny are working at the cafe. So we're definitely in now, especially as she starts kissing him. But the 3 pricks are back, like you were about to say.
No, 2. So
2 of them back. Yeah, 2 of the 3 are back. Just Tina is missing, the blonde.
So
Tina. What's that from?
So the sheriff has said the 3 of them are missing, and no one knows anything. I'm just trying to talk. And all 3 of them are supposedly missing. Then all of a sudden, our main guy and cafe girl are back at work in the cafe, and who should be there but Cal and one of the 2 chicks.
Not Tina. Yeah, Cal and not Tina are there.
But they're not looking too great.
Mm-mm.
No, they're looking very strange. And Cal keeps repeating one line.
Yeah, what was the line?
What's up, punk? Or
That's
something.
it, yeah. What's up, punk?
Yeah.
What's up, punk?
And the girl starts spewing up black liquid and spews it into the cafe owner's mouth and all over her face. Yeah.
Yeah, that was gross.
It was gross.
Yeah, so they're throwing up on the floor and in Aunt Rita's face, and the black stuff keeps coming out of the floor even more. So now we've got the return of the unscrupulous businessman from the beginning, and he's bringing Leslie more and more bodies. He says he's going to give her a really good rate because she's taken on more bodies than she really should be. So he kind of bribes her with that.
But her, mortician's tables are full, so what's she supposed to do?
The bodies start to come alive. And one of the bodies then squirts the black stuff into Leslie's mouth.
Right.
This is all very Prince of Darkness, this.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, this is so from Prince of Darkness, where, spewing bile infects the other person or whatever.
So now we've seen Mother Leslie become, one of them after she's been spewed into the mouth of. She, Johnny comes home with Cafe Girl and Cafe Girl's gay best friend. And she invites them all to stay for dinner, but it's not the kind of dinner you want because she's acting very strangely, and she serves them up embalming fluid soup.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
I just saw black, goopy stuff. But this, again, the reactions I thought were so strange here. Not so much of Cafe Girl and the best friend, because, whatever, they're supposed to still be polite, and they've never really met Leslie properly. But the 2 kids, the son and daughter, I was like, their reaction's really strange because they kind of gather that their mum's acting weird. Mm-hmm. But next thing you know, they're just like, oh shit, we're in danger. And they're running away and stuff. I was like, wouldn't you be a bit more...
No, they've clocked it right away. Like I say, he's smoking weed, so he knows all the answers. He doesn't need to take more than 1 minute to know, right? Mum's at it. We need to run away. So they do run away. And Leslie is somewhat in hot pursuit. And they go back to the sepulchre, and they're like, Bobby Fowler lives here. Tina is in there.
Yeah. She somehow managed to escape Mr. Fowler. Oh yeah, and also at this point,
is also in there.
I think Leslie's not the only one. There's a whole bunch of reanimated or taken over bodies.
As I said, Howl is also in the sepulchre, and he's kind of zombified after we saw him get got. And it's when they start running around, they finally get into the basement bit of the sepulchre. And this is where you can really tell that it's a Tobe Hooper movie, because they're all running around, and the entire set looks very much like the lair in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. All the lighting is the same, the makeup is exactly the same, all of it is very, very, very familiar.
And it turns out, obviously, Bobby's been living down there and has a couple of entrances and exits, doesn't he?
Yeah, very much like the lair in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. And they also... So Johnny and the Cafe Girl and Gay Boy, they don't believe that Tina is not infected, so they kind of have to do a test on her, so they cut her hand.
Yeah.
But it won't stop bleeding. And very quickly after that, a black thing goes into her mouth. And she's taken over.
And it's already by this point, they've managed to find a route through this underground passage thing, climb up a ladder, and they get through a vent that leads straight into the house. So that's how Bobby's been getting in and out of the house.
And they lock the little girl away for safekeeping. You know, the little sister, she gets locked away by Johnny. And all of a sudden, like, lots of bodies are coming out of caskets. And Tina, she comes back after having the black thing go into her mouth. They off her by, you mentioned it earlier on, throwing salt all over her. So salt is the answer, much like slugs.
Into a shelf, and the salt falls on her, and she disintegrates. And so they realise that's why there's all these, like, tubs of salt lying around. So that's how they're going to survive.
Yeah, so then we see a bit of them just chucking salt everywhere.
Yeah.
Over everybody.
But in the meantime, the little girl has been dragged away, so she wasn't safe at all.
She is now in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 lair. And I believe it must be Bobby Fowler. Yeah. He's got her locked away, and she's kind of like, he's rattling this skull-shaped, probably like cut
baby
out of bone, baby rattle.
Yeah.
And he's giving it to her, and then she's like sharing her red vines with him. Though nowhere near as gruesome, it reminds me of the scene in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 where Leatherface has taken Stretch back to the lair, and he's been cutting off the face of her producer. While she can see it all, but it's done with a little girl. It's just, it's extremely Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 and very Leatherface.
But in this one, he's also got her teddy bear and like her little fake princess crown and everything, and he's treating her. It seems like he's trying to make her his like toy or child or something. Like he's not being very threatening.
It's much like, I mean, there are lots of instances in, not so much in the first one, but in later Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies where Leatherface is almost like, well, he's being really childish, like a big giant man baby, and he almost does become helpful / friendly with
caring
potential victims, and almost like he doesn't want to be doing what he's doing somewhat, but something is too off in there which sets him off. It was exactly the same as that. There were carcasses kind of like stuck in the wall, much like the lair in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's almost like they used the same set. And the gay best friend is down there, obviously, and he's one of the first ones to go. He gets a hand comes through his chest, and that's the end of him. Zombie Hal, blows Cal's head off around this kind of they're around this well now. Yeah.
So we've gotten to the point now where the little girl is being held by Bobby Fowler at the edge of a well, and it's clear that he's going to sacrifice. So up until this point, I thought it was Bobby Fowler that's kind of like the cause of everything, and this, mouldy stuff, whatever that means. But it turns out Bobby Fowler is not even the one in charge, because inside this well is like a CGI grey monster thing with like
a Cthulhu type thing.
You don't see much of it, but enough to be like, really, this is what you're going with, okay? And it needs blood sacrifice.
And it's at this point when zombified, Leslie is around this well, and zombified Sheriff Howler around it, and Cal, the little git, Hal like blows Cal's head off, I think accidentally almost. Either way that happens, the well starts to
undulate.
Yeah, and it's gonna blow.
Hungry.
It's gonna blow. So everyone kind of rushes outside, and once we get outside.
Oh well, you've missed the reason why it's gonna blow though, because the brother and the cafe girl, in trying to save the little sister, they're down there and they've like pelted everyone with salt, so they're all kind of disintegrating. Grabbed the little girl, and then they've chucked all the remaining salt into the well. So that's why the well is kind of...
Because if the salt's going to get rid of the zombified people, it's definitely going to get rid of Cthulhu in the well. So now they're outside, and, it wraps up very quickly. They get outside, and this thing from the well ends up like putting Johnny into a puddle.
Yeah, well, again, it's one of those like trick endings, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you think that the well and all that has exploded, that they've salted everyone and everyone's dead and that they're safe. But then, like you said, the puddle drags him in. Yeah,
Johnny dies by puddle. And then Leslie, the mother, she comes running out and she kills off her own daughter, the little sister, yeah. And then it pretty much ends there.
So yeah, they didn't do anything to stop it. This
it will live on forever.
black bile monster thing.
Maybe Johnny will become a new type of Bobby Fowler now as well. And obviously Leslie's still running wild at the house and things, and there'll be a little satanic little girl, zombified little girl.
Again, I don't feel like it makes much sense, and I also don't know why. When
it's a wacko film.
When Leslie is first, a bit crazy at that dinner thing, and they're like running out the house, and they're like, "Where do we go?" It's like, well, you just walked there from somewhere else, so why don't you just walk back? But then the suggestion, I suppose, is that the whole town's infested by now or something.
Possibly, yeah. Again, not explored.
It's random. It's zany. It's not that well executed, unfortunately.
It has enough of the Tobe Hooper unhingedness about it, which it would have been number one. Because funny enough, even though I've got its number two, Belko Experiment number one, I wouldn't watch Belko Experiment again. I would watch Mortuary again. It was just the disappointment that I had of no mention of comedy anywhere. So I thought I was going to be seeing something completely different in tone.
I have to admit, actually, because I didn't know it was Tobe Hooper until we were watching the credits, and it suddenly popped up at the end, and I was like, oh, okay, that somehow makes a lot more sense now, because that does seem like exactly his kind of humour, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, when you consider that he thought Texas Chainsaw Massacre was comedic, then you're like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and he was shooting for a PG rating with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, because it's not disturbing or harrowing.
But I didn't find Mortuary had any of this, like, the same scare moments or
it's not
even
scary
gore
at all.
or I know they always say TCM's not gory, and I suppose in a way it's it's not bloody, but there's all bits of skin around and people on hooks. I mean, the idea is still very gory.
It's more what's there through imagination. In Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it wasn't that. Well, it's not a movie's not going to be like Texas Chainsaw Massacre anyway. But this was more on the lines of Tobe Hooper, doing Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, doing Life Force, doing those kinds of things. So yeah, weirdly enough, since we watched it last night, it's one of the things it has been in my head quite a lot, and that's why I said I would watch it again now, knowing what I am, what to expect from it. But yeah, wouldn't watch Belko again, and I certainly wouldn't watch the Lazarus Effect again. That was dull as dishwater, as we say over here.
Yeah, literally no saving graces.
Mm-mm.
So yeah,
really poor.
That was it for last week, guys.
Until next week.